Evening, everybody. Welcome to the final hour of the transfer window. Is anybody fed up looking at live streams yet, or being on live streams yet at this stage? It's all day,
Every
all
man and a
day.
dog are on it. Every
Smarty from
man and
Art
a
No
dog.
Better has joined us, and Danny from Not Another Leeds podcast as well. I'll put their details in the description below. If you're not following them, if you're not watching them, go and do it. They're two fantastic podcasts. I'm very, very much worth the view. Um, I don't know how many people we've got. We've got 92 in chat. I'm shocked at that. Great stuff. Thanks for popping in. Really appreciate it. We are all waiting with bated breath to see if Connor Roberts ever shows up in a Leeds United shirt. I think it'll happen. But right now, we haven't had any updates. Smarty, what do you reckon? Is it going to happen?
Well, everyone else is saying that it's going to happen. All the right people are saying the same thing, so you'd think it would happen. But we've been here before, haven't we? In January, when things went a little bit pear-shaped. So you'd like to think that it's over the line and that they're just maybe doing a photo shoot or something like that, perhaps. Yeah. But I've got my fingers crossed, just in case. But I'm pretty certain this one will come through, hopefully.
Danny, where are you at with this? Is the ghost of Dan James past coming back to haunt Leeds?
It's an easy go-to to fans, isn't it? But it's funny you should say it, actually, because Parag's just texted me and he says, the fans, lol. I don't know what he means.
Just text you.
Yeah. It's a picture of him with nothing but a 49ers top on next to Connor Roberts.
49ers like loincloth.
He's like that, Parag.
Yeah. The saucy devil.
There's not a huge amount going around. Just bring up to date on a couple of bits and pieces. Joe Worrell to Sheffield United is off. They've signed Mason Holgate, and that means that move is off. No rumor yet if it's happened. There is a journalist by the name of, I've just forgotten. Danny, you just told me him a second ago.
Whitcoop.
I was going to go for Coupland. Whitcoop, and he reckons Leeds will do Connor Roberts a right back and have still, Connor Roberts a centre back and still have interest in Benson. According to Alan Nixon from The Sun a minute ago, Benson is staying put at Burnley. He isn't leaving, which I'm not surprised at all, because I didn't think he was leaving in the first place at all, because all the links have come from Football Insider pretty much since the start of this, and Team Talk, and their hit rate is about as good as Jesse Marsh's points total in the Premier Division. So not great. His driving points are great, though. He's fantastic at getting points when he's driving. But outside of that, not great. So, yeah, there's not a huge amount going there. Ian Poveda looks like it is between two things. It's Sheffield Wednesday. It's not clear right now. There's one report saying it's a 2.5-year deal, permanent move. He is out of contract at the end of the season. Another journalist, James Marshman, I think, is saying it's a loan until the end of the season. He is out of contract. There would be some form of a small loan fee involved in that as well. But somebody else has told me that there's a possibility that Leeds loaning him out till the end of the season and getting a loan fee means Leeds aren't on the hook for a sell-on clause that they might have in the deal to Man City when they purchased Poveda in the first place. So Leeds might be playing a bit of jiggery-pokery with some finances. We'll do the outcomes. Before we get to the announcement, we know Connor Roberts is the one we're going to talk about. We'll get to that when it happens. But in the meantime, players that have gone out, lads, I want to get your thoughts on this, because there's been a huge furore about Leo Kjelde leaving, of all players. Leo Kjelde is gone, Luke Ayling is gone, Lewis Bate has gone, Darko JB is gone, and Jack Jenkins has gone. What are our thoughts, Danny, on the initial exits? How do you feel about these players go? Do you feel like you've lost anything?
Apart from let's be
Ask
real.
Again, I forgot. Sorry.
Apart from Luke Ayling, who were barely featuring on the bench at times, a 17-year-old Archie Gray were keeping him out with the team. And let's not forget, most fans didn't want Luke Ayling to start anyway. You've got that factor. He wanted minutes. He's gone to Borough. You've got Jack Jenkins, who were at Scunthorpe last season. For me, I don't know why people are panicking. I get numerically we are, weaker, but it's not affecting. Apart from Poveda that's come out tonight, I just don't think it's affecting us. In terms of first team football and talent wise, I just don't. I'm not bothered. I'm confident. Even if we'd have kept Poveda tonight and the rest had gone, I wouldn't have been that bothered. Obviously, I would have been upset that we didn't sign anyone. But other than that, mate, I think they've not had any impact, have they? Really?
No, I don't think so. Smarty, about you? How do you feel about these?
Well, if you were to go by what the timeline on the Twitterverse is saying, that all hell's breaking loose and the very foundations of Ellen Road are shaking to bits. But we're talking about fringe players and further, aren't we? Really, they've had no impact on the first 11. Really, we've seen glimpses from Spence, and obviously that's turned into a little bit of a sour story. Poveda, we saw him in the cup. Never really done anything for me in Poveda. I've always thought that there was a player in there somewhere, but obviously he's been out on loan. He's been to Blackpool. He's been to Blackburn. He's not really done all that well. So I wish him the best. He's clearly not good enough to break into the first 11. He very, very rarely gets on the bench. So he's when you're really looking at the whole that group of players that have left, apart from Luke Ayling, see you later, lads. Thanks for your efforts. All the best for your future. It was a shame to lose Ayling, but obviously his time had come at the club, and he was out of contract at the end of the year anyway. So he leaves without good graces, doesn't he? And I'm sure he's still got a role to play, for another team in this league.
I think so. I'm a big fan of Bill. I'll always appreciate everything he's done for Leeds. And as I said before, he far overpaid what we paid for him in the performances he gave Leeds for a very long time. So he owes us nothing, and I appreciate everything he's done for Leeds, and I wish him all the best. A couple of people asking about Sean McGurk's situation. Where is what's story? Sean McGurk? He's injured apparently. Apparently he's injured currently. So that's why he's not been floating around.
I love Sean McGurk. I've said this a few times. I would really love to see how he would fare I would like to see him initially in the cup games, I think, but I'd love to see how he'd fare against a proper team in the Championship. I think he's got bags of potential, and I really don't know why we aren't seeing him playing for the first team.
He's had a cracking start to this season this year, doing 21s. I mean, he was scoring goals, he was getting assists, and he plays as a 10. So he's a busy player. He covers a huge amount of ground during games. He's out of contract at the end of the season as well, which is a concern. I think he might be. I don't think he's going to make the breakthrough at Leeds. I think the timing's gone against him. He said his best season. I spoke to Scubala earlier on in the year, and he said he's really pushed on this year, but he had to. He said it's been a really big year. He has to show Leeds what he's got this year, or else, there's no point in him sticking around. He's got injured at the wrong time as well. I think he might have been able to get onto the bench for the first Plymouth game, maybe if he had been knocking about, and then he gets injured. So it's a shame, and he's obviously missed out on the final game of the European Cup with the under-21s as well, been injured. That they got paced in that game, which is unfortunate. That team's been decimated, but there's a huge overturn expected in the summer. So yeah, who's out of contract? God, there's a few. Poveda is going out on loan. He is out of contract at the end of the season. Ayling is out of contract at the end of the season. Cooper's out of contract at the end of the season. McGurk is out of contract at the end of the season. There's a good few. And I think there's a few more in there that I don't know off the top of my head, but there's
Bate was as well, wasn't he?
Bate was as well. Yeah, Lewis Bate was as well. Yeah, that had to happen. We had to clear him out. Cody Drama would be out. He's another one that's out of contract at the end of the season. So I think Leeds have looked at it and gone, these players are not going to feature for us into the future. Let's just clean them out of the way. We'll take the hit for their under-21s for the rest of the season. We'll see where we are in the summer and start a rebuild then. There's a good under-18 side coming through there as well into the under-21s, like you've Alfie Creswell coming through from the Creswell dynasty. You've got Harry Gray knocking on the door to the under-18s team as well. He's only 17, I think. So, sorry, he's not. He's 15 because Archie's 17. He's 15 and he's been banging in goals from the 18s, under 17s as well. So I did have a man by the name of Jerry McDermott that people may know of. Jerry's been involved with the club, Galway man in Ireland, but Jerry told me last year when we spoke to him, keep an eye on Harry Gray. He will be the top striker in Europe within the next 10 years. They think his ceiling is that high. So there are some good players coming through the younger ages. Monteiro just celebrated his 19th birthday, so he's still very much a baby. So he's got lots of time. There's a lot of players that we mentioned already that are aging out of the under-21 setup as well this year. So they weren't going to get into the first team squad. And if Leeds get promoted, forget about it. Done, dusted. No point in having it. Poveda was one that I wanted to see get more of a crack this year. I did like what I saw of him this year. And I was talking to Joe Blackburn on his channel. And he was saying he's a fun player to watch. And we're like, yeah, he's fun, but we didn't see the end product from him. And I think that's been the reason he's gone. But yeah, he's out. Unfortunately, that's him gone. So, and it doesn't look like Leeds want to bring in a replacement, according to James Marshman. Leeds won't be bringing in a replacement for Poveda. So he goes. So are we calm about this window, Smarty? Are you calm? Are you?
I think throughout I've been calm. Whether that's me maybe being a slight little bit naive, I don't know. This new regime with the 49ers, we don't have much experience with. Obviously, they've been there in the background with Rads, I suppose. So yeah, I don't know. I've always remained calm because I don't think, you hear Fat going on his presses and stuff like that. We will only take on players that will benefit or positively impact the team, and there can't be that many out there. Yeah, I mean, you'd think that there might be one or two left backs or right backs that are kicking around somewhere that we might be able to use, but I'm not a scout and I don't really know what I'm talking about. So yeah, I mean, I'm expecting my phone to glow red hot in the next, what have we got, 50 minutes? So yeah, the notifications are on. I'm a little bit disappointed that we haven't made, a few more loan moves or whatever. Apparently, we've missed out on a few players as well. But it is what it is. We're in a good position. At the end of the day, we're still relying on Southampton, Ipswich, and Leicester to slip up more. Are they going to do that with more players that they're bringing in? Who knows? They can't win more than what they're already winning. It's
exactly.
We've just got to concentrate on our squad, keep as many players as we can fit, maybe a little bit more rotation, and we'll just have to see where we go. I mean, we're literally passengers in this, aren't we? We can hope and we can pray and we can chastise the club as much as we like, but, at the end of the day, they'll do what they think's best for the club.
I heard Joe Blackburn describe it as we are the last domino in the row of dominoes. And we are looking at every other move that has to happen before we can get our one done as well. Glenn just saying, Glenn, you said you asked me a question. I don't remember what the question was. So if you want to pop it in again, I'll put it up and answer for you, mate. But you said on JB, I think the loan was a good move because he's got a contract at Leeds and this will help him. This will really, really help him. I don't think he was going to get in ahead of the midfielders that we have there. And again, with Ilya Groove coming into the team after not playing for half a season and being as good as he's been, he's just not going to play in that team. So I think going out and getting minutes at this level in this division will show Farke maybe moving forward the player has something to offer or not, depending on how that long. So far, he's been very good for Plymouth. He's been really, really good for Plymouth so far. So let's hope that continues because I think there's a player there. Huge.
He has bags of potential. When he initially came to Leeds, you looked at him and obviously quite in depth because he was. He was the one-way traffic, with the swap deal not the swap deal, obviously, Phillips and JB coming in the opposite direction. I looked at him and thought, yeah, this kid can play. I mean, clearly he's been at the City for a long time. I don't call him the City. And he's, a very, very solid member of their youth setup who were winning absolutely everything at that, that age group. So, the kid has bags of potential. He hasn't had that much, obviously, impact on the team because he's not featured that much. He's been playing against kids still. You want him to obviously muscle in with the big boys and start getting some experience in the big leagues and stuff. He's not going to get that with us. So a loan move again is, is the right move for him and for his career path.
I had to put this up. I had to. I'm sorry.
I'm gonna get it on a T-shirt. I'm gonna have to. Utensil player.
I think it's great.
Yeah, we do need more utensil players, don't we?
We do.
Really.
We do, yeah.
We do have quite a few, though. I mean, you'd probably stick Archie Gray. There's people in your comments are going to be confused as hell, thinking, "What the hell are you talking about?" I slipped up once on a live podcast. What I actually meant was a utility player, but I said utensil instead, so I didn't call him a fork or a spoon. It was a complete muck-up. But yeah, it's just something that's kind of hung over me ever since. But yeah, a few more utility players maybe. But we've got some good guys that can play in many, many different positions. We've seen it this year. So,
I mean, Van Padu can play in a couple. You've got Shackleton can play in a couple. You've got Archie can play in a couple. Georgie can play in a couple as well. Cree can play in a few positions as well. There's enough there. Danny, you disappointed to see any of the lads go that have gone? The likes of Poveda, would you like to see them stick around longer? Or do you think Leeds are doing the right thing by clearing the decks now, getting ready for a new summer with hopefully new players? Sorry, real quick. Stuart Dallas out of contract at the end of this season as well. And I agree with people who said we've probably seen the last of them in a Leeds shirt, which is unfortunate. Sorry, Danny. Go ahead.
It's fine. I think we're in this transition period now. I think they're clearing out the players that they don't think will make it. Now, with Poveda, I think he had a lot of potential when we signed him from Man City. There's a reason why he's been at Barca, Brentford, loads of other different good academies, but there's also a reason why he's not broke through. I just don't think, like, he did okay at Blackburn, but then he got injured, didn't he? And then he came back. I just don't think.
Yeah, quite a nasty injury as well.
His ACL 2 years in a row, didn't you? 2 or 3 years. His ACL 3 season, ACL again.
Yeah, I do think it's good business if we're going to get rid of him on a permanent. His contract's up. According to transfer market, I think it's 900k, is it?
Yeah,
that is worth. So maybe a loan fee for that. Maybe if he is going to go on a loan to Wednesday. I just like Hjelde. He came with good promise. I just like Jack Jenkins. There's loads of youth players where you think, right, okay, they could make it. It's the same with Sam Greenwood. He were rocking the 21s, but then it's hard for our 21s to transfer that and into the first team, isn't it?
Yeah.
Sorry, I went on a massive tangent there. Sorry. I waffle a lot, people. I'm sorry.
You're fine. You're doing great. Keep going. I was enjoying that.
Who else is good to talk about?
You have to keep talking. Yeah, I haven't seen Phil Haystay Benson is done. So if there is, Mark, if you have got access to that, let me know because I'm looking here and I can't see it. Adam Hope has just confirmed that Ian Poveda's move will be a loan.
Right. So
that's the last you'll see him because he is out of contract at the end of the year. So that'll be the end of his time at Leeds as well.
Poveda always used to look good warming up as well. You know, if you ever saw him at the side of the field and you watched him warm up, you think, this kid, who is this kid? I mean, you look at his CV and you think, wow, you know, and then you watch him warming up and he's doing flicks and you know, you think, bloody hell. And then it's just, it's all fair and no knickers really, isn't it? You know, he comes on and does a little bit, you know, and it just looks lost and it just doesn't impact a game as much as you'd like to hope or maybe even think, you know, and it's just, oh, come on.
Where does he play? Where would you put him?
Right wing a lot, doesn't he?
I think he wants to be a 10 though. And I think he's okay as a 10, but there's a lot of competition with clubs for 10, and you've got to really do the job when you go in as a 10 to get into the, I think that's where he's fallen down. Farke has said multiple times he's one of the most creative players we have, but then you've got to ask yourself, well, then why isn't he playing? There's a reason for that. I mean, Daniel Farke is not going to bite his own nose off to spite his face. He likes him enough to give him a couple of minutes off the bench, so he's not one of the players that's out of favour with Farke, but he won't start.
Sorry to jump in, but Burnley have just announced something on Twitter.
Burnley signed right back Lorenz Assignon on loan from Rennes until the end of the season, which you would imagine is the final. And now it's just been breaking. Connor Roberts. No, sorry, I'm not going to read that. This is an idiot who's said he's failed medical. Nearly bit.
Nearly got you.
But you didn't. Haha. No. Yeah, that's the last domino to fall. That's the one we're waiting on. As soon as that was confirmed, then that should be. People saying again, Benson. I don't think Benson's going to happen. I really hope it doesn't because I haven't expected him to happen all season. Joe Worrell could be a sneaky one in the back door because his move is off now. If Leeds did want a centre back, although I don't know where he's going to play unless Pascal Stroke's injury is an awful lot worse than they're making out that it is. So I still don't. I think it's Roberts. And that's it. I'm being honest.
Well, it's looking like that. I've been scouring the official or more official channels than some random guy behind a desk in his bedroom. So I've been looking at Graham Smith, Phil Hay, and others, obviously. And there's nothing coming through at the minute. No. I'm checking everything. There's nothing. It's very quiet. As long as we don't go to bed just yet sort of tweet that we've sold Somerville or something like that.
I was going to say that, yeah.
To really rub salt in the wound.
Somerville and Georgie are both gone to Dortmund. There you go.
Yeah, on loan.
On loan, yeah. Yeah, that would really be the knife in the back, wouldn't it? Speaking of on loan players, actually, I want to get thoughts on this as well. Louis Sinisterra at the Bournemouth on a permanent transfer. According to the more reliable sources, they are saying that will be done in the next week or two, that will be made a permanent move. Anywhere in the region of between 22 and 25 million. Leeds bought him for 21, I think. So it'd be a small profit on a player who Leeds really don't want back at the club. I think Angus made that abundantly clear. Are you all right with that, Danny, or do you want to see him come back? Nah,
Sinisterra, not a chance, mate. He forced the move badly for me, and if you're doing that, am I right in thinking he threatened legal action?
You're trying to sue the club,
yeah. Nah, don't want him. Make a decent little profit on him. Reinvest into the squad. I'm not bothered if he goes. If he wants to stay in and play in front of 3 men and a dog in that capacity stadium down there, I'm happy. I'm more than happy for him to go make a profit, mate. That's how I feel anyway. We've not missed him. You know, our front four have got 42 goals between them. Do you know what I mean? So we haven't missed him, have we? Really?
This is an interesting shout by John. Could Leeds use the money from the Sinisterra move then to make Joe Rodon permanent?
There you go, yeah.
And others, hopefully.
And others, yeah. Love to see it. Yeah. So, not for me. Leicester's Sensi deal is in trouble. Apparently, they're having issues with financial fair play with this deal, which is mad considering how many players they actually sold in the summer for decent money. They have brought in a total of no players so far. So we're not the only one that hasn't done anything just yet. Southampton have lost a player and brought a player in. Alcaraz is gone. They brought in David Brooks. So they're kind of net the exact same as they were coming into this window.
Yeah.
I think the consequences of the financial fair play stuff is really starting to scare clubs a little bit, that there's actually now points deductions being dished out. So teams are like, well, hang on a second, maybe we shouldn't go nuts spending the money.
Lord Ash is, sorry to go off on a tangent here again, Joe, but Lord Ash he's a menace, isn't he?
He is a menace.
He's retweeting stuff like he's failed his medical and stuff like that.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah. He's got a new.
He's retweeted. Yeah, he's retweeted. Burnley have signed Connor Roberts from 2 years ago. I thought,
I thought he would have been busy with Joe at the moment. You know, isn't there an apology due there at some point in the next 60 minutes or 50 minutes?
Yeah, I've heard it. I've seen it.
Yeah, it is a great little thing that they've got going on at the minute. It's quite funny. He's absolutely pulled him to bits a little bit, hasn't he?
He has.
So
yeah, if Joe gets what he wants out of this window, then he has him with his pants down. But we'll wait and see. I like Ash. I find Ash funny. I think
he's a good lad. Yeah, he's a good lad.
Yeah, he's a good lad. Yeah.
So, are you happy with the window, lads? Smarty, with you first. Are you happy with the window with one player coming in, or would you have liked to see Leeds do a bit more?
I think I would have liked to have seen a right and a left back. Maybe some more cover forward. I mean, there were obviously Kiefer, what's his name from Bournemouth?
Kiefer,
what's his name? I don't know. I think when I look at it, do you bring so many players in, or can you bring too many players in, which will unbalance the squad? Will it disrupt the squad? You don't know, do you?
No.
I think someone's saying that my mic's a little bit quiet. I'll turn it up. I don't know if that's any. I don't know if that's a bit better. I don't know.
That's better, yeah. I thought you were okay anyway. Yeah, that's fine.
It's one of them. I mean, we like to strengthen where we need to be strengthened. So, ideally defensively, left back and right back. But really, anywhere else, we're pretty well covered, aren't we? You don't want to be bringing in players just for the laugh. Yes, we have to be careful with financial fair play as well. We don't want to go, hell for leather and start spending money and getting people, players in left, right, and centre. It's a seller's market. It's genuine. It's certainly not a buyer's market, which is obviously why we're trying to do a lot of loan deals as well. I think given the place where we are at the minute, where the league's panning out and where other teams have or haven't strengthened, I think we're in a pretty good place. If we'd have got a couple of more players in, yes, fine. If not, I really don't see it impacting our season going forward negatively at all. Unless we get a lot of injuries, and then it's a completely different conversation, obviously.
Okay. Danny, what about you? What would you have liked in this window? Are you happy with our lot assuming we get Connor Roberts?
Assuming we get Connor Roberts, I think it's they've liked him from the start. They've played the cards. It's cliche, but the dominoes have fallen like we've seen today. Like they've signed a left back in order for him to come here. Left back, right back, wherever he is. Sorry. Obviously, I agree with Smarty. I think a left back with more chance of signing a unicorn than getting a left back. It seems this club, I don't know what it is. They've got the very left back.
And a number 9. Those two, we're afraid to buy either two of them.
Yeah. At the beginning of the window, I did think, a 10 would have been nice, but I think George is doing a great job in there. Like I said earlier, our front four have got 42 goals, more goals, assists between them all, probably goes past 50. And so for me, it were more about the back line, especially with Strike going out. But yeah, I'm happy because we've got a right back, we've got cover, like you say, we've got people that can plug goals, and it's all about a massive investment in the summer now, isn't it?
Yeah, I've said it before. Going back to the Daily Mail's trip to the Levi Stadium a couple of weeks ago, there was the conversations. They saw what the plan for the stadium was going to be and what they were trying to bring in. They showed them around Levi Stadium and said, "This is the kind of thing we're trying to bring to Ellen Road and Leeds in the future," which is exciting stuff. But they also said there was a massive clear-out plan in the summer. Like if Daniel Farke did get Leeds back to the Premier League, they were going to give him that Poveda with the trophy.
That's Leeds.
It's goodbye tweet.
Poveda's gone. Yeah.
Well. He's been nice about it. A good guy. So they basically said that there was a massive plan to give Daniel Farke the tools he needed to be a success in the Premier League, and that meant a squad overhaul. which also probably means it makes it's smart to not go bringing in players right now that you're not going to need next year and getting rid of the ones now when you can, so you're not stuck with them next year and you know taking up space. There seems to be a portion of our fan base who want us to stockpile average players that won't get into the team. You know, and if you look at who these players are going to, the ones we are leaving, they're not going to rivals. Outside of Luke Ayling going to Borough, I think Borough will be in around the playoffs by the end of the season. But Plymouth, MK Dons, you know, Halifax, Sunderland might be thereabouts, but they're not. They're not. It's not like these players are leaving us and being picked up by Premier League teams or lower Premier League teams or teams in and around us. It's not. They're going down a step. Now they might come back up again and end up being good players, but there's no point in having these players on the book if they're not going to be playing football on a regular basis and if they're not going to add anything to the squad and make us better. And that's a big thing. And the same with buying players. There's no point in buying a load of average players who just aren't going to be better than what we've got and are going to take up more space on the bench. We know Daniel Farke won't use players if he doesn't rate them. They just sit on the bench and they won't play football. What's the point of bringing in more of them? So, again, you know, not losing players in this window, I think, has been huge. Marty, where do you sit on that? The fact that we've managed to retain the likes of Rutter, the likes of Somerville again, Nanto again in this window.
I think it's brilliant. You know, it's imperative to keep the core group of players that we've seen playing week in, week out. You know, so fair play to the club, because I can guarantee that there will have been a hell of a lot of interest from the teams above us, certainly in the likes of Rutter and Somerville, maybe even Dan James, and you know, in a fantastic season that he's had so far as well. So yeah, it's great that the clubs have managed to. I mean, you only have to listen to what, you know, Somerville have said. You know, I wanted to come and I wanted to help the team get back to the Premier League. You know, these kids seem like they want to fight for the places. They want to fight for the club. They want to get us collectively back up to the Premier League, and that speaks volumes for me. It's, you know, so you know the people that have left, those that have gone on loan, we're going to have a hell of a deal, or a hell of a job, should I say, at the end of the season, trying to get rid of them, because, like, you know, so many people in the comments as well have said, you know, once they've gone and the way that they force themselves out of the club and, you know, weren't willing to stick with a club that brought them to the Premier League. They didn't want to fight for us. They didn't want to obviously come down a league and muck in and try and get us back up there, so they can all get rodded. So there's you know, there's going to be a lot of toing and froing in the summer. And I just go back to, you know, I agree with what you said. We don't want to stockpile players that aren't going to be fit, very rarely, you know, or are rarely going to make appearances for us now. Never mind when we go to the Premier League. So yeah, I don't really know what else to say on that subject, to be honest, because, like I said, I think we're in a good position, and we just, you know, we just got to be very, very careful. We're seeing, you know, so many teams at the minute that are getting done over by financial fair play and profit and sustainability and stuff. We really do not want to be embarking on a one-way bus to Shitsville again, do we?
And yeah, I mean, that's the thing. I have PTSD because of what happened under Ridsdale. I remember it so well. And every time I see someone go, "Why are we not playing? But it's only worth 8 million. Spend 8 million in the championship. You may as well be spending 100 million if you're going to spend 8 million. Like, it's nuts money in the championship."
Absolutely.
And you go, I don't know what the rush is to get back into financial trouble again and have another 16 years. Because as soon as we do that, the EFL are going to nail us. It's the second we blip, they're going to just nail you for it. So what's the point?
Do you not think that it's a specific age of fan as well that's coming out with this sort of stuff?
Yeah, lads that are playing FIFA and Football Manager
and the Championship Manager and all that sort of stuff. You know, the wannabe managers. You know, that they've not been through. You know, collectively, you know, we're all roughly the same age. You know, we've been through it. We've tasted it. We didn't like it. It's taken us so long to get back to where we are now. You know, like you say, you know, you've got kids that are going, oh, well, why don't we just spend this and we'll spend that and we'll spend other. Oh yeah, and we'll just go back to League One and, you know, we'll have, you know, 11,000 you know, people in a stadium again, and it's just not somewhere you want to be. And I'm all in favour for the club to be a hell of a lot more cautious and careful with what we're doing at the minute than going.
The bulk of my time attending Leeds United games have been when Leeds were crap. That is the bulk of my night. Over 4 or 5 times a season. It was League One, bottom of the Championship for years. I have only got to see them in the Premier League twice. I would like to see Leeds in a good division on a regular basis going forward, instead of having to go back to League One before I can go to see a game again. So yeah, sorry, Danny, you were going to say something there.
I'm not a big fan of the huge aquarium that Ridsdale bought. the big fish tank. Yeah, I just going into that point. I've been saying it all month. Like certain fans think that it's just a click collect with players. It's not all like that. It's all about, you know, contract payments, installments, and all that kind of stuff. It's so intricate. It's not just submit bid, okay, see you later, that's it. And it took nearly 20 years for us to get over that relegation. that administration and all that. And you could say it's naive, really, couldn't you? But we don't want to go down that again. I mean, you look at all the other clubs that have right, Forest, they just don't care. They're trying to sign players even though they've got a sanction coming.
Is it better to get a sanction in the Premier League though than the Championship?
And that's the gamble. See, Aston Villa have done that. Aston Villa gambled the year that they went up. They have a sanction from the EFL awaiting them if they ever come back into the EFL. They've been told that, but the sanction doesn't carry into the Premier League. But it doesn't work that way the other way around. If we go into the Premier League and breach financial fair play rules, the 3-year window will include the year in the Championship, so that gets pulled into it as well. And that's a tricky position to get out of as well. And the reason I let this on the screen from Jason is Hull have really gone for it in this window. Like, they've brought in high wage players from good clubs, and I think Phil Hayes said this morning on Square Ball, they've got a sniff of the playoffs and they're going for it. They're having a whack at it. If they don't get up, that could come back to haunt them big time.
The axe will fall.
Oh, it will. Yeah, on the chopping block. Yeah, especially if you look at the loan fees that they'll be paying as well. Do you know what I mean? And the agent fees and all that kind of stuff. I just don't like. Like you said, Joe, you suffer from a bit of PTSD. We all do as Leeds fans, and it's just that most fans, they put all that insecurity onto Twitter based on their own fears. You know what I mean? I'm like, why have I not signed anyone? Why have I not signed one? And I've been saying all the way through that they won't be just sat there doing nothing. They'll be moving in the thing. And so a few people have come for me. I was the bigger person this morning after the Connor Roberts news. I removed all my bookmarks. I didn't go for them like certain people would, but you know what I mean. I just don't think that they're so naive to get rid of players just to not get any more. Do you know what I mean?
I agree. Don't look at my Twitter for the next 12 hours then. I've got a post ready. I'll be in the comments. I just need us to get past 11 o'clock and not sign Manuel Benson, and then the post I've got ready is perfect. If they sign Manuel Benson, the whole thing falls apart. It's ruined. And it's a nice post, and I'm excited about using it. But it's at the moment, it's directed straight at Football Insider. The whole thing is directed at Football Insider. There's photographs and everything ready to go. But I want to make sure we actually get past the window without falling down. But yeah, I'm going to just say something from an Irish perspective here. Someone's just thrown it in chat, and I want to make sure I give him the best chance of success. Adam Ida has joined Celtic on loan. Adam Ida is an average player. There, that means he's going to have a banger season for the rest of the year if the Glenn Kamara comment is anything to go by. This is I don't believe the living the dream was worth the nightmare that we had afterwards. I really don't think the 3 years of sniffing around the Champions League was really worth, because we didn't win it. Getting to the semi-final was great and all, but we didn't win it, and it wasn't worth the 16 years of languishing in the bottom end of the Championship and League One. And I would never want to do that again. I think if you look what the 49ers have done with look at Prague Morata and the York family have done with the San Francisco 49ers. They have built that over time. They built the investment structure. They built the stadium. They got the investment in from that as well. They made sure the club is debt free. They brought in a really good manager in Shanahan, who they backed when he was struggling at the start. They recruited him the very same way they recruited Daniel Farke. They interviewed like 25 managers. They took ages to settle on it. They wanted to make sure they had the right guy. Farke was exactly the same. If you remember the summer, it took ages to get that one done, and then it was Farke. So they're following the same model with Leeds. The next step with them is to do the two stands in the stadium and to build that up and get more revenue on the match days. They will sign players along the way. There's enough investment there as well. So they're building this the right way. And if you look where the 49ers are now, they've been sniffing around the playoffs the Super Bowl for a little bit. They've been on the edges of it. Last year, they fell to the final hurdle, didn't get to the final. This year, they've gotten to the final, and they're expected to go very close, if not win it at all. If they follow the same path with Leeds, I'm okay to wait a couple of years to get us back there. If we have sustainable growth over the next couple of years and it's slow progression, but it's progression, absolutely okay for that. Absolutely okay for that. Glenn, I love you, mate, but I have to disagree with this, and I'll tell you why I disagree with the O'Leary. It was O'Leary's fault. O'Leary doesn't sign the checks. O'Leary doesn't sign off on transfers. O'Leary asks for players, and any manager I've ever known will always ask for better players than they've currently got if they can get them. It's up to the chairman to say, we don't have the money, we're not signing any more players. You've got a good enough squad, make it work. So for me, I would never blame the manager. The manager is right to look for better players. It's the owner's job to tell them, or the chairman's job to tell them, we can't afford them, we're not buying them, and not go out and take a silly loan against 5 years worth of Champions League football that we didn't get. that's where I sit on the. I've sat on that for years, but that's where I sit on that one.
He's come for you, Glenn, hasn't he?
I like Glenn.
He's been
Glenn is cool, and it's all right having a different
relentless
opinion.
today.
No, Glenn has a different opinion on a couple of things to me, and I have no issue with that at all. Everyone's entitled to it. I know, and it is split. There's half the fan base would say it's O'Leary's fault, half of it always said it was Riz's. It's always been split. So, yeah, but that's my take on it anyway. But yeah. So to bring up to speed, there is still nothing happening.
Nope.
Yet.
I've seen. Sorry, Joe. I've seen someone saying that that he's just going in now, but there's no one in the photo. It's just outside Ellen Road, but it's something to cling on to.
Leeds United news: Ben Jacob, Gibby Sport. Connor Roberts has completed his medical and is about to join from Burnley. Top target that Leeds have wanted since the start of the window. This was needed to bring the fullbacks. Leeds needed to bring in a fullback like Roberts to fit the bill. So I don't know if they have an exclusive on that, but yeah, look, it looks for all intents and purposes.
Don't know about you lads, but I've been watching plenty of his highlight reels on YouTube this afternoon.
What do you think?
I think he's a very good player. I'm not too sure why how many appearances he made for Burnley this season in the Premier League. Do you know?
Very few. Very few.
Very few. So that obviously, it begs the question as to why he's not playing. When you look at obviously how he played last season in the Championship, and he just looked absolutely on fire. He assists well. His movement's good. He overlaps. He's good at crossing. He's aggressive when he needs to be. He seems like an absolute top quality player. So you just wonder how he not obviously getting a game time in the Premier League, especially when they're doing so poorly themselves.
Yeah. I agree.
Who have they replaced him with? It's crazy.
They're replacing him with this French guy they brought in. I need to see more detail than that.
But if he's not made that many appearances, who's playing instead of him at the minute? Before these other kids come over.
Point. Premier League, he has made 0. No, that's the last time he was there. Burnley Premier League, 14 appearances. 14. So he's played probably half of their games.
Yeah, well,
be off the bench or not. Total of 16 appearances, including the cup. 2 games.
Probably come off the bench, and he came off the bench the other night for a couple of minutes.
Last half an hour. Yeah.
But
so
that's
still a squad player. He's still a player that Vincent Kompany was using in the Premier League, so he's still at that level. And they're doing well, reasonably okay for Burnley, considering I thought they'd be absolutely smashed this year. I thought they'd be hammered by everybody. They haven't been.
This is the beauty of obviously having. Go on, mate.
Sorry, mate. No, go on.
No, go on. You crack on. Someone's tweeted.
Someone's just tweeted to Phil Hay, "Where is Connor Roberts?" And Phil Hay's replied, "In my basement."
Well done, Phil. They must get sick of that. They must get sick of that. Phil, what's going on? Yeah. I don't know. I don't work in the club. What are you asking me for?
Do you know what? One of my favourite, most pathetic things I do on New Year's Eve usually is I wait until the clock strikes 12 and I will tweet Phil Hay, any news, Phil. It's my favourite thing to do. I do it every year. Like, so many other people do. It's like that. That guy from Auto Betters here again tweeting me, the shit house.
See, I'm the other guy. I'm the other guy that says, "Oh, I've not seen you since last year." I'm that kind of guy.
Christ.
Yeah. I'm that guy.
We do have a split on the decision. So I put a poll in the chat a while ago, just saying, "Are you happy with the window? Yes or no?" 58% happy with the window, 42% not happy with the window. Which is about, I think, right if you read into what's going on Twitter at the moment. But then Twitter's a nasty cesspool, so you never really know.
Has Kiefer Moore gone to Ipswich?
Ipswich,
yes,
yeah.
Yes.
As is Ali Ahmad from
Wimbledon.
That might be a bit of a masterstroke by Ipswich, because I've said for a while they're only a striker or a decent goal scorer away from actually, romping a few teams here, because they seem to be quite wasteful, going forward and stuff. They had a good team at Ipswich. They've had their ups and downs, obviously, but that could be an absolute masterstroke for them. I predicted them obviously dropping away around about December. To be fair, it's taken them a little bit longer, but I predicted this way months and months ago. But that might be a good. Well, obviously, it'll be a very good signing for them.
I think it's what they need.
The guy from Wimbledon, though, is jumping up 2 divisions now. I think Joe Blackburn on his show had said he's got like 12 goals and 6 assists. He's like 18 or 19 goal involvements in 22 games, which is phenomenal for any player. That's a phenomenal level. Sorry, I had to. Yeah, we were first week of the window, and then it went away.
He's loan mill. I've just seen it on here now. His loan moves. Were he going to Fenerbahce or something? It's just fallen through.
In Fenerbahce, he was going to Lazio.
Oh, right. So, right. Well, it's fallen through. It looks like he's going back to
Talk about
Fenerbahce.
failing upwards.
I just literally come across that on Sky Sports News.
He goes to Fenerbahce. They don't want him anymore. He's only arrived there. They're like, we don't want you anymore. And then he was off to Lazio. Like, how have you done that from Rangers to Lazio?
Yeah. His agent must be great. I mean, I'm at the point now where can we just sign him so we just stop getting linked to him?
He's the hardest working agent in football. You know that he really does. I'm also sorry. I'm keeping one eye on Twitter. The amount of Jesse Marsh gifs. I'm just. Why do I have to look at that man any longer than that? Look, this one. Oh, now I've got that one.
Oh yeah.
Because I'm not angry.
Have you guys
disappointed?
Did you guys listen to any of his podcasts that he
did?
That he does?
I've
not listened to a single one.
Well, I listened to the Mark Anthony one, which is really interesting. Be careful what I say here because I don't swear in this channel. But Anthony started the podcast before Marsh arrived because he was late, and he's chatting away about Jesse, and then out of nowhere he goes, "Where is this cut?" and says it out loud. Doesn't cut it, doesn't edit it. C-U-N-T.
Oh, is that because you were late?
Because he was late. And then Jesse walks in and he doesn't stop the microphones. And as Jesse walks, he goes, "Jesse, how you doing?" And he goes, "Hey, sorry, mate. Sorry, I'm late. Taxi." He goes, "Oh, what are you doing today?" He goes, "Oh, a couple of meetings." He goes, "Oh, any new clubs?" He goes, "Maybe. We'll see what happens." And then just went straight into the podcast. But he never cut it. Now, he cut it afterwards when I went onto YouTube. He cut that part off of it. But out straight, he called him a C-U-N-T before the podcast started. Before he walked in the room, I was like, "No, he's a Mank fan." So I don't like the guy as it is. And he's so far up his own arse. It's incredible. Thinks he's the best podcaster in the world. He's an intellectual and he's a bit of a div.
Oh, is he?
He's a dope. Yeah, I wouldn't listen to him unless I had to. But it was Jesse went onto it because Bob Bradley told him to go onto it because he hears that this guy really puts it up against you, and I like being in uncomfortable positions. That's what Jesse said. And my very bad American accent.
Well, and
I'm like, "You're full of shit. You're so full of it." And I watched his other podcast and with Simon Jordan because I wanted to see Simon Jordan roast him. And
yes,
he did. Yeah, we now know Jesse's data means that Leeds were actually 13th in the division and not actually
metrics.
17th. Yeah, the metrics.
Oh, well, I've never even heard of the term before Jesse Marsh came to Leeds. Metrics.
What metrics?
Todd had been playing Football Manager. Jesse was playing Football Manager. That's exactly what. Well, the win rate said we were trending this way, and the XG said we were actually in this position, not this position. And Simon Johnson, yeah, but the league table said you were in that position. You were losing lots of games, so it doesn't matter what your metrics.
Results say differently. Cock. Yeah.
Did you think it were a Pac-Man baddie metrics? A baddie from Pac-Man.
Yeah. Oh, he's a 68 overall rating, and we've a 72, so we win that game. No, you lost 2-0, Jesse. Oh, but we could have. Rating-wise, we were better. We'd more 7 out of 10 than they had per player, so we won the game. Like, no, Jesse, you're a fool. We didn't.
I would rather listen to 12 straight hours of Mongolian throat music than listen to Jesse Marsh just go on and on.
Quite therapeutic.
Yeah.
I
like.
Give us an example.
Imagine a goat that's got laryngitis.
It's not like you smoke 40 a day.
Yeah, this goat it smokes 40 Marlboro Red.
Get yourself in like a bloody leopard print, some leopard print sort of clothing, and get yourself behind a bar somewhere.
Kitty don't bite now; she's been fed.
Oh Christ!
A little bit of in betweeners.
See, this is what happens when you get me and him on here, Joe. We'll bring you down to our level.
I'm enjoying it.
I would just like to say, Joe, I'll take this opportunity that I admire your bravery for having us both on.
Well, you got to take risks in life, Danny. You know,
I think I'm doing all right. I'm not anything like I normally am. I'm keeping myself nice and just nice.
I'm sorry. It's just my intrusive thoughts win all the time.
They do, yeah. Well, I didn't realize when I asked both of you independently, I never at any point put the two of you in the same podcast in my head. I was like, I'm asking Danny and I'm asking Smarty. And I'm like, what's that going to be like when they're in the same room?
What have I done? What have I done? Yeah.
Well, look, if we touch each other, we turn into this like a mega sword, like in Power Rangers, where we just turn into this like ultimate another Leeds podcast.
Yes.
Like a mega sword.
it could happen.
The revisionism has begun with the journalists rolling backwards. According to the 72 club, Manuel Benson has snubbed Middlesbrough and Leeds United. The player himself has decided he doesn't want to leave the club, which is nonsense. He was never leaving the club. He was never leaving the club.
I think he's stamped his feet here, and I think he's sort of like, no, I'm not going. But it's trying to be spun. What do you think?
I think it's trying to be spun. I don't think he was ever going anywhere. I genuinely don't think Leeds were. And I could be wrong, but the very first rumblings of Manuel Benson were Football Insider's exclusive. Then it was Team Talk, and I'm like, two of them together is a bad mix. And then when I looked around, any other time I saw Manuel Benson linked, the source that was named in the article was Football Insider as the source. Now, they have been wrong on everything so far in this window. Everything so far in this window. So the fact that they're the initial source for this makes me think that at no point did I believe that this was actually going to happen. I would have been a nice surprise. I do like the player. I think he's very good in this division. I think he gives something a little bit different than we've got. But I didn't believe at any point we were going for anything other than a fullback. Maybe two fullbacks. But that was it.
Yeah.
We've got 15 minutes left. They're going to do it, aren't they? They're going to do it. Don't go to bed just yet to wind us up.
They're going to, aren't they? They're going to. Why did they put us through this? I had long flowing hair like Fabio before I started supporting Leeds United in my 20s, since we were younger. And it was just like, why are they doing it, man? Oh, imagine. We'd have to.
I'm going to the screen. Luke, if you invoke his name again, I'm blocking you from the channel. I'm just saying
Christ, what are you doing?
I'm just going to say. I'm not. Yeah, no. Football Insider.
I put my head in a block at that specific person that we shall not name. I thought he would have actually done a decent job in this league. But
I agree.
Instead, he was a certain person and buggered off to Germany.
I think it might have been the making of him. A year being.
Do you think
I think so.
Would have made him.
I say this joke all the time, but he has to wear ankle weights just to stay on the pitch on a windy day. I just don't. Yeah, they're just like, just like that, because that's what they do.
It's full of helium.
But talking about Football Insider, that Pete, right? He's rubbish basically. But I think he's the Jay Cartwright from the In-Betweeners of the football transfer world. I don't want to say the word because I don't want to get in trouble, Jay. But it comes out of a cow, if you know what I mean. The back end of a cow.
I get you. Yeah, 100%. Completely agree. Yeah, there was a point at the start of this window. Sorry, at the end of December, it looked very likely that Brendan Aaronson's loan was going to be cancelled by Union Berlin and him sent back because they had a new manager. They qualified for Europe last year, Champions League last year, and they were sitting rock bottom of the league this year. And there was a very strong possibility they were going to cancel the loan. He seems to have picked up his form a little bit. He's come off the bench in a couple of games, but he seems to be playing a little bit better. I think he's managed to finally get an assist under his belt as well. So it seems to be turning a little bit of a corner. But there was a very strong possibility when the new manager came in that Aaronson's loan would be cancelled so he could bring in a different player and he'd come back to Leeds. And I was okay with that because, again, Smarty, as you said, in this league, I think he would have been okay. Actually, would have done a decent job. I liked him when he played on the wing for Leeds. The game against Crystal Palace away last year, on the right, I think I put a tweet up going, this is what they talked about when they said Medford, Messi were starting to see this. Because I think he bet 4 or 5 players and then pinged the post and just dribbled out wide then.
Yeah.
And then they put him back into number 10. And you're like, he's not as good in the number 10. Out wide, he's better.
Lost.
He's lost in the 10. Yeah, completely is lost. But there's none of them I want to see back. No, we're just waiting on the Rocket deal.
Yeah, well, obviously, we'll never see him back, and even if he did come back in, if they terminated his loan and did come back, he'd be going somewhere else straight away anyway. Obviously, his agent will have been all over that. But like I said, I mean, there were glimpses of him, especially at the start of the season when you thought, actually, there's a real player here. He's really good. He can play directed. He can literally turn on a sixpence. Yeah. But he was literally the same size and weight as a Rizzler paper, so just floats away and gets brushed. And then, obviously, the entitlement of him, he just sits there with his hands in the air going, what the hell's happened?
Where's the free kick?
Yeah, meanwhile, we're getting countered into that humongous open space that is usually in the left-back position, and we were getting done.
I think he'll go back to MLS sooner rather than later. I just don't think...
That'd be a massive failure for him, though, if he did that, wouldn't it?
Will be huge. Yeah, same with Jesse. He won't go back there either because it's seen as a failure. I think France. Yeah. I think he ended up with France and he'd do a really good job in France. He'd look like a really good player there. He'd make a decent living for himself as well. There is there's a lot of talk that he's one of the few players that Leeds actually want back at the end of the season. That they still believe, because he's very young, he's 21. There's still a ceiling there, and there's a possibility of a good player there. I think he get a couple of weeks with Daniel Farke's strict training regime and realize pretty quickly it's not for him, and he's not tough enough to deal with that. But I mean, he hasn't bulked up at all since he's gone away. Like and he's talked about it in interviews. He's talked about the fact that he know people talk about his physical strength, but he doesn't believe that that's the case. Oh, interesting. Sensi deal to Leicester is off, apparently.
Oh, that's a big blow for them, is that?
Hi, Liam. I won't be far behind you as soon as we get this thing.
I didn't even know Liam were here. First I've seen him.
Right there.
Hello, Liam.
Hello, Liam. Quite in the background, Liam. Doing his bit.
I think that's quite the blow for Leicester. I mean, you've only got 10 minutes.
That's the one I would have liked to have seen. Dewsbury Hall had gone to Brighton. And I actually fancied that one because I thought Brighton have had, what, a couple of 100 million sitting in the bank from the last 3 or 4 players that they've sold all for over 60, 80 million. 40 million for Dewsbury Hall wouldn't have broke the bank for them at all. But unfortunately, that would have been nice because that would have really weakened Leicester.
Dwight Gale's a free agent.
Stop that.
Would you, Smarty?
Tell you what, mate, he was very, very dangerous at this level. Very, very good player at this level, as we've seen so many others, you know. But yeah, Dwight Gale, well, especially when he was with Newcastle, you know, he was just scoring for fun, wasn't he? You know what a player he was.
You've missed nothing.
He was very sought after them 2 seasons, wasn't he?
Who did they have? Who did Newcastle sign? What's his name? When they had
Mitrovic.
Mitrovic, wasn't it? But Mitrovic obviously spent most of the time on the bench, and Dwight Gale took most of the glory. And then Mitrovic left him to Fulham, didn't he? Yeah. From there.
There was a question, right? Mitrovic was bought when Newcastle were in the Championship, I think, and he scored a ton of goals. And when the Premier League didn't do it, I think Newcastle went down, scored a ton of goals in the Championship, went back up, didn't score in the Premier League, and then left.
No.
And did the same at Fulham then, was in the Championship, scored a lot of goals. So Fulham went in the Premier League, and then he started finding his form in the Premier League. And he packed his bags and headed off to go to Saudi, did he? I think pretty sure he went to Saudi, didn't he?
Somewhere like that.
I think he's at Ronaldo's side. I think he's the same team as Ronaldo, possibly. I don't
Al
know.
Hilal.
Yeah, I think it's Al Hilal.
Imagine if we'd have brought him in the summer in place of Bamford.
In this division.
Stop it. Christ. Might as well have just handed the chuffing keys to this city and the frigging trophy right there and then. Right, you take it away.
Speaking of Aaronson's, his brother Paxton has just signed for Vitesse.
Apparently Paxton's rated as a better player than him. But he's also wafer thin.
Can't be much worse, can he?
He got a big move to Germany somewhere.
He went to Germany last year from Philadelphia Union.
Paxton, that's a wonderful name.
It's a very American name, Paxton.
It's a very American name. It's like Brock and
Paxton.
Chad.
Hunter.
Oh, I was thinking of Anchorman. It's Baxter, in it. Baxter the dog, not Paxton.
Mark was here in Wyoming.
Well, I've heard that before. Nice.
You know I don't speak Spanish.
A whole wheel of cheese?
Afternoon, Miss Corningstone.
This is what we've got to. This is how bad this is going tonight. That we're now in a situation we're quoting Anchorman. Teresa, how you doing? Morning, Jared, Danny Smart. Just woke up West Australia. What's happened? No signing confirmation. No, not yet. Poveda's gone to Wednesday. This is. If it happens that we sold Poveda and didn't sign anybody in the last day, I'm laughing. I'll be crying in 20 minutes. This is nuts.
Paxton is getting stuffed.
It's crazy how we've got 5 minutes and there's still nothing. I mean, I'm still confident it'll get done. It's just why are the teasing us? Because obviously Ben Jacobs has said he's completed his medical. The Burnley side's done on their side, but the anxiety rushing through my veins is unbearable at this minute.
Ben Jacobs
See, I'm just chilled. I might put some whale music on in the background, maybe smoke a cigar. I don't know. You know, we haven't lost any players, have we? Apart from the ones that we had no interest in and weren't going to play anyway. And it's
all like yoga you do.
Yeah, mate, honestly. And
my
taking long
chakras
baths with sea salts.
Who's he?
And thick finger cymbals every morning for half an hour.
Yeah.
Just got to throw it out there. I don't normally do this on the stream, but it will definitely help the algorithm. There's 600 plus watching. If you could stick a like on this, that would massively help me along. If you don't mind, we've got about 200 likes at the moment. That would really push the channel along and the window as well, which I'd really appreciate that if you can. I don't normally ask for, but if you can, that'd be great. Thanks very much. I can't see the thing about someone else's quote with the Ben Jacobs has said that he signed it, but now I'm looking at Ben Jacobs' page and I'm like,
is it on a blog that he does? The update
possibly his blog. Possibly his blog. He does the Give Me Sports stuff, doesn't he?
Yeah. He's a busy boy, though, isn't he? He's a very busy boy.
He's on Fab's level now. He was in a podcast during the week with Fabrizio Romano, answering questions. Yeah, this is TikTok, lads. Tickety talk. I think 4 minutes left.
Yeah, I can't see it not being. If it's not done, then I'll shave my legs and become a seal. I don't know if that helps, but
I think I prefer to see that over a signing a right back.
Yeah.
I think I'm okay with us not signing a right back. Then, if you're going to shave your legs and pretend to be a seal, I'll get some. I
can do the tricks. I can do the ball thing.
Can you? It's tough.
He's good with balls.
I'm very good.
Rumor.
Yeah,
I've seen him balancing plenty of balls on his nose.
All shapes and sizes. I don't differentiate. It's a skill.
Poveda loan, so he can't play against us. No, we can't. He can't. Bet Joe is sweating. Bet Joe is sweating right now. I bet he is. I told him earlier on he went too early with the cigar. I told him he should have just waited till it was done and then gone nuts.
Yeah.
Joe's gonna Joe.
I bet it's like that. If I won't say it, but you can see it.
It's squeaky. It's squeaky.
It's squeaky. 5p dustbin lid is the size.
I really thought 10 o'clock would come and they'd announce it at 10, then we'd be grand for the rest of the window.
Yeah.
There's a Leeds Insider page, which I'm convinced is Ash is putting.
I'm furiously refreshing. I'm furiously doing it.
Lord Shigareth, thank you very much for that. I really appreciate it. Yeah, there will be a Twitter meltdown. But as I say, if you don't sign them and Leeds lose tomorrow night, stay off Twitter for a bit.
Yes.
It's not going to be a place you want to be.
It would be like Thunderdome, wouldn't it?
I think Thunderdome would be like a, nice Mediterranean cruise in comparison to what Twitter will be like tomorrow night if we lose. Yeah, it's getting tight. All right. Yeah, stop that, Arthur. Stop that. We don't know that. We don't know that.
There'll be another documentary of him in tears in one of the lounges. At least Victor Orta's not here to console him.
Just gonna bring him up.
Take his name out of your mouth. Don't do it.
His beard's back.
Have you seen the pictures of the players when he's unveiling them at Seville? The man is ragged. Like he's just
a massive creep.
He looks like he's falling apart.
He's just a massive creep, don't you think?
Yeah, he's a creep.
It's just
just like, get off me, you lech. Ugh, get away.
He was talking about how Jorginho Rutter was his. I'm like, great, just stay there 1 second while we get the scroll of all the players that didn't work out that you signed.
What about everyone else from frigging season last season? Where are all they, Victor?
Yeah, all the young players we're letting go right now were all his signings as well.
Yeah. His hit record wasn't very good, wasn't it? Was it?
There were some absolute gems in there.
There
were, but at the end of the day, you're not going to everyone that you're signing going to be a terrible player, is it? You are going to get even if it's a small hit rate, you are going to pick up a few gems. In there. Rafinha was an absolute, unreal. Samu Saiz, another really, really good player that we never really saw the best of. Ideally,
really disappointed in Samu.
We could go on, but he would. I reckon Saiz in that team, if he wouldn't have. Left.
He'd have been off. Yeah, he'd have been amazing.
I remember spitting at people. That would have been great. Then you can't have it all good. There's always going to be a pit trade off. He's great, very skillful, great player, but he will spit at people every now and then. It's like, Camels do that. Would be okay.
We have a green tick from Leeds United.
Ooh.
They have just tweeted seconds ago.
So they've gone. Yeah, they've literally
green tick 2024 January transfer window. It says.
It's closed. I don't think they're done with it.
Well, obviously that's it done. Yeah, but well, announce someone then for Christ's sake.
Yeah. Here we go.
Love
It's got
doing this.
1,000 likes already. Something.
You know what happened? It'll be tomorrow. A video will go out, and you'll see Connor Roberts signing his contract, and it'll be bright daylight outside the windows in Elland Road. Like it'll be middle. And like we decided to wait for 6 hours to announce it.
Imagine if they just dropped like two signings. Imagine if they just dropped two, 3 signings instead of just Connor. I don't think I've got the.
Drop two, but I don't think
I've got enough tissue.
Oh dear.
Happy tears or sad tears, Danny?
Either.
Tyler Roberts signing a contract, more like yeah. There's a bit of that going around. What have I missed, guys? Not a lot, mate. We're just waiting on it. Leeds have just tweeted a tick to say that something's happened in the window, but they haven't tweeted anything.
Imagine this is where we've got to at 11 o'clock. Leeds have tweeted a tick.
This is why people tune in. This is why there's 680 people who've taken time out of their evening to sit down and watch this, so we can tell them Leeds have tweeted a tick.
I mean, I'm
breaking
news. Yellow for this. I mean, this is it. 8 seconds left. 7 seconds left.
Yeah, I had a banner, but it was yellow, but then I said, no, I'm not doing it.
Oh, Joe, are you going to drop your exclusive tweet?
It depends on what happens with Manuel Benson. He's kind of fundamental to my whole, your sources aren't good. Yeah.
Window is closed.
Yeah.
That's it. Don't understand.
2 minutes past 11. Window is officially... You have to say it properly. The window has slammed shut. Because nobody gently closes the window after them. They all smash it closed, you know. And I
bet Joe's absolutely sweating.
And we've just had this shared with us as well. I thought I'd bring you guys in on this. This has just been shared on Twitter. Yep. Just a laughing face and dots. Like, yeah. That's been this evening. That's what's happened today. That's been
nice.
It. Hopefully we get a tweet, Michael. Hopefully we get a tweet from them or something to say it's done. But I'm assuming it's done. Square ball telling Leeds United to behave now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, back on 1919 on Twitter has a shocking hit rate with this window. We're usually pretty decent, but really bad.
It's very vague. I'm assuming it's a he.
But I'm assuming it's a he as well. Yeah.
Lighting
is just weird. 2024 transfer though. What the fuck does that mean? And
Ian Poveda's released a video that it looks like he's been kidnapped in some kind of locker room.
It does like it. He does like a good video about himself, doesn't he? I will say that.
But he has got a massive picture of himself with a big E crown on his head, doesn't he? In his house. That picture of him with a huge, big, massive picture of himself looking, and he's standing there looking at it, and it's Biggie's crown on his head.
It begs the question: what else does he do in the mirror? Do you know what I mean?
Right? Mm-hmm. What's the rest of the house look like, Ian? If that's the picture that's downstairs, what are the pictures like upstairs? What have you got on your ceiling? I want to know what's on your ceiling. I bet you there's a mirror. Bet you there's a mirror.
It's a picture of himself staring down at him.
To everyone that stuck with us for this, thank you, because this has got to be
I'm here.
There's a lot of people.
Actually. Yeah.
You did have
1,000 out there.
You did have 1,000, then they saw me.
And me.
Oh, he's here, is he? All right, off we go.
Yeah.
Come on,
not that bald one.
Yeah, exactly me.
Right. Well, there's a lot of people with a lot of question marks on Twitter and everyone else. You know, no one's pleased at the moment. Everyone's a bit panicky.
I don't think they'd tweet that if it hadn't been done. I just don't think they're
just teasing us out.
They're just making.
They're just evil. They like to see us panic and go, "Oh God, what's happening?"
I want to see a picture of a fish and chips on a table. That's what I want to see. I want to know what's happening. I want it to happen.
I want to see a Welsh dragon.
We've got some Welsh. We've got some Welsh. That's.
Excuse me.
Ooh.
I'm not going to try and pronounce it either.
Yep, 2024.
Is that on his page or is it on Leeds' page?
Leeds page.
Leeds.
Yeah.
Page.
Yeah.
It's got Dan James Ampadu Road on 2024 space. Oh, I like this.
I think I'm getting sick as this stream is going on. I've been feeling myself getting sicker the longer this is going on. There you go.
There you go.
Yeah, it's done. We can safely say that it's done because there's a blank by 2024, and Connor Roberts is going to fire us to the Premier League.
Let's hope so.
And I'll say that with chest.
Yeah.
I mean, it's taken them how many hours to make that post? You know,
I'm not being funny, Joe, but I could have made that.
I could do it on PowerPoint in about 20 minutes. 20
Even I could have a
seconds.
stab at that.
Yeah,
I could get my crayons out again. You know.
Yeah.
I mean,
On the back of a Benson and Hedges
back of a fight.
cigarette packet.
the back of some silk cut that was you had more like white trim.
I could use it with my own wee in snow. How about that?
That's a talent.
It's creative.
I'm sure there's a niche out there somewhere.
I'm a pioneer. What can I say?
People would pay for that. People would actually pay for that kind of
They
stuff.
would do.
You know, they do.
Which is a good point to bring up. My Only Dan's page. You can subscribe.
Phil is tweeting stuff now, saying that he's excited. I mean,
Who's tweeting it? Joe.
Phil here.
Bill.
Do you think? I mean, obviously, we all the Leeds journals. I mean, do you think they've dropped off a bit? I mean, is that just because of the 49ers? Do you think, Joe?
I don't think
Because it's
anything's coming out of the club anymore. The only one that seems to have any kind of connection with the club now or getting stories seems to be the Daily Mail. Like if you go back to the summer, they had Daniel Farke at the same time that Team Talk were saying their exclusive was Patrick Vieira be named as new Leeds United manager. Daily Mail were saying it was Farke. It was Farke. They had the signings right as well. They had Glenn Kamara weeks before it was the longest running transfer in the history of transfers, to be fair, but they had Glenn Kamara down as well. So they've been pretty much on the money. They were also present in the club when Prague addressed the staff for the first time. They were there. So
just if you go onto Joe's Twitter and he's posted his video, if you want to watch that, he's posted his video.
So itchy. He sent it to me earlier on. I was like, he's
have
so
you seen
itchy to post this. Yeah, I've seen it. I laughed my
Yeah,
ass off.
mate.
He's like, what
He's
do you
like
think?
the
And I was like, if you post that before he signs,
Yeah,
you deserve everything that comes back. Well, it's very good. It's very good. Yeah. The apology from Ash that's not from Ash is very good as well. Brilliant. If you haven't seen that video, Joe's go check it out. It's well worth it.
Yeah. Not the voice I predicted in my head.
No. So it looks like it's done. No official announcement. I don't know how much longer we want to run this. I wanted to see the actual announcement before I wrapped it up. But any questions from anybody in the chat who wants anything answered? Thoughts, feelings, emotions, dreams, hopes, aspirations, whatever you want. Any questions?
My favourite Greg's bake. You know what I mean?
What is your favourite Greg's pastry?
Ooh, I think my go-to is a sausage and bean. The only thing is, if it's straight out of the volcano that is the oven, it's like lava when you bite into
Super
it. That's
microwave.
Yeah, but every Saturday I go and get Greg's breakfast for me and the kids, or sausage burgers as they say, and that's my life.
Fair enough. Babs, we're seeing this.
Life. And what a life it is. This is great.
Greg's, if you're watching, please sponsor
Steak bake, absolutely. Sausage, bean and cheese and a steak bake for me all day long. Absolutely all day long. Yeah. And because I'm a fat git, I like to buy the packet of 4 sausage rolls as well. I tell you what.
It's better value.
Absolutely belting.
You're going to buy 4 individual ones. It's going to cost you more than buying a 4-pack. You might as well buy
they're always harder, aren't they? Whereas the ones in the packets are always nice and soft. It's lovely. It's great.
Makes perfect sense.
There's a logic to it, of course there is.
This is the content we need, really. This
is the real answers. The real content that people are after. This is my
4th transfer window live stream, and it is the first time that it has focused around warm pastries instead of actual football. So we did
warn you.
We have stepped over. I'm convinced I've lost subscribers tonight.
If you want us on,
we're talking about Greg's pastries.
Nothing to do with you guys. Everything to do with the fact that Leeds have made this an absolute chore.
I love the fact that Joe's lost street cred because of me and you, Smarty.
No, I've lost street cred because of Leeds. Like, we're going to do the last hour because it's going to be exciting. And you're like, what's happened?
I tuned into Joe's podcast right at the end, and they were talking about Greg's pastries.
This is my third stream today between Joe Blackburn, Joe Wayman, and now this. I'm exhausted with them. I don't ever stream again.
You'll sleep well tonight.
Oh God. Mrs. came in an hour ago. Still haven't seen her. Haven't seen her all day. She came in an hour ago, stuck her head in the door, and went back downstairs. I was like, I'll see you in a bit. If I get there.
Yeah,
20 minutes downstairs.
I told my missus that we're coming on tonight, and she went. I told her what time we're coming, and she went, "That what are you going on that late for?" You know, like what on earth? Who goes on a podcast at that time of night? It's transfer window.
Anyone else ask me
just
to come on a
rolled her eyes
podcast
and went,
any
"Oh."
day of the week? I'd be like, no, it's too late. But it's the one. Here's a question for you, lads, from Glenn. Would you work on BBC News for £500 an episode?
What are we doing on the episode?
Yes. Are we evaluating and rating pastries, or are we actually having to talk about something, football-wise?
Is it?
Football related.
Yeah.
If you want to follow up with a follow-up question, Glenn, on that, I've been on 2 BBC Yorkshire stuff. I didn't get paid for them. I'd say yes again to it in the morning if I got paid for it. Absolutely, I would. I'm a cheap date. Any kind of money. I'd be like, fine. Yeah.
To be fair, I've probably been on the news before. Have you seen this man? Stay away.
Yes.
Presenting, yeah.
Have I been? I've been on Yorkshire News. I'm pretty certain when I was a young fellow, and I met Harry Gratian and a few other. They were actually town players. They were my team, like our junior team, played a load of town players, and it was shit. But that's the only time I think I've ever been properly on TV.
They get 25 grand per episode on what's HIGNFY? I have no idea what that is.
Come on, Lord Protector. Enlighten us.
Have I got news for you?
Oh yeah, well they're proper known people.
It's a proper show.
It's a proper show, yeah.
They don't talk about Greg's pastries on there.
They're
That's
lost.
because they're uncultured swines. That's why.
No.
That's exactly it. Yeah.
Unlike us.
If they don't want to venture into the world of warm pastries, then look, that's their own grave. Come on, Leeds, press the button.
We don't want to be associated with people that don't like pastries. I'm sorry. It's just not on. It's mostly, like, I bet they go to places like Prêt à Manger. You know what I mean? That kind of place.
How do you even pronounce that?
Prêt à Manger.
Is it manger? Is it manger?
It's mange tout.
Mate, so you get your vowel correct when you're pronouncing it, Joe.
Manger.
Yeah.
You went mange. Yeah, you sort of vowels in there. You want to be careful.
You're only a vowel away from a massive mistake.
What?
Oh.
And is it prêt or is it pret? You see,
it's prêt. It's French.
Oh God. Look at him, the cultured swine.
Yeah.
Well, when you travel
George
the world.
Gray, he's 63 years of age. I'm
yes.
going to Ellen Road for the first time next week. Leeds fan all my life. Can't wait. George, have a cracking time. Fingers crossed you get a result. That will be great. Fair play. Enjoy that, mate.
Enjoy it, mate. You'll
your
have
first
a
time
great experience.
Something else. Yeah, really is. Walking up the steps and seeing the pitch for the very first time.
Whereabouts in the stadium is he sitting? Because that could affect your experience as well, I think.
Would do as well, yeah.
Not that
George,
we
where are
want
you
to frighten
sitting?
you.
Let us know.
Oh, fun fact. What the translation of what they've just tweeted is "Don't go to bed yet" in Welsh.
Who said
Is
that?
it actually?
Who tweeted
It is actually.
That Welsh thing that they tweeted. That that I went, they've tweeted
Yeah.
some Welsh. That.
Yeah.
It usually
It
lets you
means
translate it on the app as well, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It didn't do.
Copilot. I've got Copilot now, so I'm all about the
So,
fancy AI tools.
Paid Amind Igweli Eto. It means don't go to bed yet.
We're going to do that, weren't they?
Yeah.
they were.
Yeah. I just felt that's a good little nugget.
Wrong. Whatever I copied and pasted there was not the right thing.
Yep, Bosh. There you go. Welcome, Connor. It's just literally popped up. Bosh. There you go.
Nice. There we go.
No.
Right.
Yeah, there it is. We'll stick it up. We'll stick this up because everyone has stuck with us for this. We may as well.
Don't it look nice?
I'll probably get done for copyright, but please, Adam and Wilson, please don't do me for copyright.
What if me and Smarty sing over the video?
I won't put the audio on.
Mute and mute. Yeah.
Has it gone for number 2?
Looks like number 2, yeah.
Alien's number. Is it taking that?
No,
I think it's gone for 2, hasn't he?
I think it, but it's available, and Bill's not getting a new contract.
True.
It'd be weird having a new number 2, wouldn't it?
It would, wouldn't it? That's what I mean. Like, literally threw him out with the bloody old baby out with the bathwater, as they say. There you go. Sod you, Luke Ayling. Cheers, but no cheers. And
yeah, there's a picture of him holding a shirt in the.
Do I get a refund on my Luke Ayling shirt then? Do
I? Do you know what? This is the first time I've bought a shirt, and I was going to hang it up, but I thought, no, I'm not that sad.
No.
This is the first
Number
time
33.
I've got a player on a shirt since Chris Wood.
Oh, wow.
And he buggered off.
Well, that was a bold move in the first place, Chris Wood, wasn't it?
Yeah, Chris Wood. It was the black Kappa strip. You remember the black and silver one?
I have a variety on up there.
It's a cracking shirt, that. But the club did actually refund me, and I just went, I think I put Alioski on it in the end.
Oh, nice.
But after that season, I thought, I'm getting a bit older now. You know, certain people have certain opinions about, you know, the older generations having shirt numbers and names of players at the back of the shirts and stuff like that. So I thought, maybe I'll give it a did. But Somerville, absolutely love the guy. I think I might get all 3 shirts done this year, actually.
So have my name on you.
Why not?
They didn't, Chris. They gave him 33 in the end. And did Roberts play in the FA Cup? No, he did not. He is not cup tied, so he can play against Plymouth.
Excellent.
I have had a name and number on my shirt since I was a kid. Always have had it since I was a kid. So as I've got older, I've always just kind of kept it going. There's very few. I think last year was the first year I had a shirt with nothing on the back of it because I didn't like anybody in the team.
Yes.
And then this year I was kind of like, probably won't do it this year either. Still not. Kind of fell out of love with just players in general. And I was like, no, they have to earn this. And then by the time we got to Christmas, the blue jersey I had Ayling on the back of it, and I have Sam Byram on the home shirt. I was like, yeah, too safe. And then I got Dan James on the third strip because he scored, and then I was feeling really happy that day. I was like, I'll buy a third strip deck. I'll get Dan James on the back of it.
Yes.
Don't wear it. We'll never wear it. We'll put it on me when I got it. And was like, no.
Well, the pink one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't have the complexion for that pale
I just
yellow.
I look like a fat fruit salad in mine. So I went, no, I will not be seen in public in this. Thank you.
Yeah.
Fruit salad.
But I have no skin pigment at all. So I'm like an off shade of grey most of the time. So it doesn't work with that kit. So I won't be wearing that kit. Right, folks. It's late. Smarty, thank you very much for sticking with me and jumping on tonight. Danny, pleasure as always. Thanks for jumping on as well. Really loved having you on the channel. Something very different tonight. And I'm glad we did this. You've kept me going because I was dying on my ass before we did this. To everybody that stuck with us in the chat and watched the video, I really appreciate it as well. It has been a tough night and a tough day for everybody, so I really appreciate that as well. Leeds have a signing. Connor Roberts joins Leeds United on loan until the end of the season. Leeds will move forward with one additional player in this window, what gives us the player that we needed. And arguably, looking at what's happened with Leicester, Leeds have come out of the window slightly stronger than some of their competition. So we'll wrap it up. Massive thanks to everyone again. I will be back tomorrow morning with Leeds News, probably covering some of this as well. It could be a bit light on the ground tomorrow, but we'll probably get some information around deals that didn't happen. So we'll cover that in the morning. And then that'll be it until the weekend. And I'm back on Monday then for more Leeds News. Until then, have a great night. Thanks very much. Enjoy the weekend and the match, and I'll talk to you soon. See you. Bye.
Cheers.